it's Mardi Gras season. Let's make a king cake. We're gonna start our recipe off with a cinnamon roll dough, and you can look in the description box or over here for the link of how to make this dough in the cinnamon roll video. Our dough is prepped and ready to go, and it's all ready. We made this last night. I'm gonna start by flouring the counter. We're gonna flour our surface, and we're gonna roll this out just like we would for cinnamon rolls. Okay, we're gonna get our dough rolled out into about a 9 by 11 rectangle. Now that our dough is all rolled out, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna get our filling going. So I have 1 block of cream cheese that's kind of been coming to room temperature here. And to that, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of white sugar. We're gonna do about 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, and we're gonna get this mixed together. This is gonna be our filling. We're doing a cream cheese king cake today. Now to this filling, you can add blueberries to this. You can add pecans, which is what I really wanted to do, but my kids didn't want any today. You can add strawberries would be great, and I would use either a jam to add that or maybe a frozen berry. We're gonna get this all incorporated, and then we're going to add just a little teaspoon of vanilla. Let's get that mixed in, and then we're gonna get this spread out on our king cake. So this is what it's gonna look like. We're gonna come through and dollop this. Okay, and now we're gonna spread this out as evenly as possible over the rest of the dough. Okay, after we get that done, we're gonna take this and we're gonna start rolling this up. We can move some of this way. You wanna make this as even as possible, and you can kinda push your dough around a little bit at this point, just to kind of make sure that your roll comes out pretty even. Okay, so actually I'm going to, let me get my hands washed. I'm gonna put a little more flour out on the counter, and then we're gonna rotate this because we need to braid it. Okay, I'm gonna get a little more flour put on the counter. Okay, flour my hands a little bit. And I'm gonna slowly turn this away. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect, just do the best that you can. We have our roll this way, and we're gonna start up here at the top, and we're gonna cut this into 3 strands. Okay, so here's one. We're gonna kind of move it to the side a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna cut our second strand. We're gonna kind of scoot this as we cut. Okay. Okay, now that this is spread apart into our 3 strands, we're gonna braid this just like you would a little ponytail. But before I do that, I'm gonna take my cinnamon and I'm gonna dust all over the top. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna start at the top. We're just gonna very gently fold these over one another and do our braid. Like I said, this does not have to be perfect. It's gonna be super yummy either way. Okay, so now we're at the end of our braid. I'm gonna let this sit for a second and I'm gonna get our pan ready. Okay, so I'm using a cast iron baking sheet. You can use a regular baking sheet for this, or you can use a baking stone for this also. I've also made this in a cast iron skillet, so if you have a large one of those, you can put it in there in a circle. I'm gonna take about a tablespoon of butter and I'm gonna smear that all over this pan, that way it doesn't stick. Okay. And now we're very gently gonna transfer our dough over here onto this baking sheet. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make a circle. And we're gonna crimp this together on this side. And I wanna kind of spread mine out so it's kind of an oval shape. Okay, and this is what it's gonna look like. Now I'm gonna cover this with a tea towel and I'm gonna let it rise for about 30 minutes to an hour before we put it into our preheated oven. So I'm gonna get the oven preheated to 400 degrees and that's the temperature we're gonna start it at. It's gonna bake for 10 minutes at 400 degrees and then we're gonna reduce the temperature to 350 and let it finish baking for 20 more minutes. So let me get a tea towel, we're gonna cover this and we're gonna let it rise for 30 minutes to an hour. It's probably gonna be closer to an hour today because it's pretty cold outside. Okay, we're gonna leave this here for about an hour. Okay, it's been an hour and now our king cake has risen on the cookie sheet and it's ready to go into our 400 degree preheated oven. We're gonna bake this for 10 minutes at 400 and then we're gonna reduce our temperature to 350 and continue baking for another 20 minutes before we pull this out. Okay, our king cake has come out of the oven and it's cooled just a touch. It's still really warm. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and mix up our quick little icing for on top. Okay, for this we're gonna use about a half a cup of powdered sugar. We're gonna use a splash of vanilla. And then we're gonna use a splash of milk. And we are gonna mix this and then come back and add a little more as needed. We're starting with about a teaspoon of milk, and I think that's gonna be it. Now actually, I'm gonna have to add a little bit of powdered sugar back to this. It's a little too runny. So you're just gonna mix this, and if it's too dry, add a little bit more milk. If it's a little bit too runny, like mine, you'll come back and you'll add a splash of, just a little bit of powdered sugar. Add a little more. Put a little too much milk. See? Okay, this is kind of the consistency we're looking for here. Make sure all your lumps are out from your powdered sugar. And it's gonna look like this. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to start to come and drizzle this on our cake. We're gonna kind of spread it out a little bit. You can do a lot more icing than this. You can do a cream cheese frosting would be good on this. It's kind of interchangeable, however you like it. I like more of kind of a glaze. Now that our icing is done, we're gonna go through with our sanding sugar in our traditional Mardi Gras colors of green, purple, and gold. And there we go, you can see all of the cream cheese and everything. It's gonna be so delicious.